going just in terms of teamwork and how we see their defense is going to play. This is interesting. Yeah, this is a whole new split screen. I like it. You're not strong enough. Oh, you did it. Look, wow, Australian strength. Crocodile Dundee.
Pasha, I'm coming for you.
But the point is, if they get that easier side on CT now, if they actually get that opportunity to start out on the easy side, just strictly based on getting back into this mentally, it would have helped them a lot more. So now I would say, just strictly on what we saw in Inferno, it does make a bit of a difference.
Yeah. So Na'Vi, they need momentum, they need hype, they need something beautiful here to give them the confidence to go up against TSM. And KGB is already looking to take away that confidence, pushing very aggressively up into that short A. Edward at least opens up now up against Sipnix. That's over on long A, and A is most definitely the primary target. Device isn't going to make it easy for them because they've just lost their floater over on B. In fact, they don't even get the mid. They cannot control short. They're jumping up. Zeus as well as Kerrigan having a bit of a battle. Device wants to get the control back. The plant is down into a 2-on, well, 3 HP, 3 on 3 HP situation. Can we say that? That'll work. Yeah.
3 HP. I get what you mean.
Yeah. Technically a 3-on-3, but not the way you think. But there's no real way he can take care of this. Like, there's no defuse kit. There was no nothing. So first round go the way of Na'Vi, a much needed round, as we were saying.
Yeah, and they didn't get the pissed around on the last map that we saw in either side, so already an improvement. Again, I said they would need a very good start on Dust 2, specifically after getting trounced on Inferno. This is the start of it. Guardian's going to go straight for the scout. We'll see him pick down mid, see if he finds anyone crossing over. But they can't get eco. If they get ecoed here, I'm going to say the map's over. I just don't see them being able to pull themselves together. But Edward's down. This is already starting off wrong.
Yeah, at least that nade's able to do some damage there to Cajun.
And again, that came from a 3A presence off spawn.
Look how
so
quickly
watch for that
back.
all night. TSM's very good and very dynamic at playing with each other on the CT side. So I want to see it from them. Zeus responds, though. Kerrigan's down. That'll help things out. They still need to find some presence. They've got up Catwalk as a result of these players pushed out. C's now going to catch out Zipnix, so they'll get a bomb plant here. And I don't think a retake's going to be possible just based on the fact that A is so vast and you're up against rifles.
This is probably that time when I'm not feeling Team SoloMid is rotating as quick. Like, the calls are coming a little bit later because they're not finding the information. So either it's just the calls are late or the information is not being received. That one player that's watching up through mid, knowing when they're pushing in. Because both Device as well as Dupree were very, very late to the party. And their floater on long A. Like, Dupree, well, with Device's help, they're trying to get at least one pick-off up here against Na'Vi. It is, of course, eco, so we can't read too much into it. In fact, like, they lost one player for Na'Vi, and that's going to remain as just one player. So it's really not a bad eco for them. For Team SoloMid, that is. I don't think...
It was reasonable. No, it could have been. They tried to look for those exit kills when they came out long at that point, but they didn't find they got one kill, obviously, we saw, but they didn't get what they were wanting. They wanted to actually try and have Device bait them out the doorway with Dupree just sitting there directly beside it, but unfortunately Dupree got spotted a little bit too early, so it didn't work out where they got more than one. Oh, careful. Did he just drop that bomb up on top of the box, not behind it?
I don't know, man, but I'm watching Edward get a 3 on the long A. And Guardian, they won't even give a crap about getting that plant down because they've managed to win it. No, the bomb was down the ground.
Yeah, it was. I thought he threw it in an ungrabbable spot.
It did look like that. Well, it shouldn't be ungrabbable. You should be able to boost up there.
There's a hole behind it that's very easy for it to fall. I think it actually, there's no hitbox on it, so it can fall behind it. You could boost up. Either way, it would have been. I would have laughed at it.
Well, I don't think Team SoloMid were laughing about what happened on long A. Again, it was eco, as Team SoloMid now, in fact, have Cage and B on that AWP. And they're moving him to the long A. Device will watch for Flamey. He's pushing a little aggressively up into upper dark. But now he's just holding a little bit more defensively as Na'Vi going to try and look for a pick-off in mid. Some level of control. Cage and B is in a pretty easy spot just to turn that AWP around and catch out Na'Vi on Catwalk. But he'll need Carrigan as well there, in case someone does come in with a machine gun at close range.
So here's the point I was making about having your op as the secondary player at A, because now if they come up Cat and you have a rifle, you're not going to be able to hold over that wall unless you hit every single shot. But with Cajun B with the AWP, he should be able to pick them off one at a time if they don't smoke this accordingly on the elbow.
Well, where are these smokes coming? There's still a couple of them left. In fact, only Flamey is
Yeah, there
holding
you
on
go.
to his.
That's the smoke that I needed. The up close, I think that was actually intended for the drop, but that actually might work for them because, oh, no, Cajun BC's above it.
Not the perfect position then. Not the perfect one, but they do still have the bomb site. I should be careful about Sipnik. He's still down there in CT spawn. They've just lost Seeds. So short A is not as secure as they would have really liked. Guardian needs to try and find this pick off on long. The AWP's there waiting. He goes for the first peek. Cajun B, though, will get the upper hand. And now it's all up to Flamey on 9 HP. He's going to be dropped. And a flawless round for Team SoloMid on their first buy.
And that's becoming more and more common. You look like guys like Skadoodle and Chris J. They both play on the ramp, peeking directly at the corner of the catwalk. What that does is allow the player that if you don't hit the shot immediately, it allows them to dodge and dart and shoulder peek you with the edge of the wall. By having a reverse angle like Cajun B plays there, which we're seeing a lot more people, Shock, Smith, they both do it, it doesn't give you anywhere to hide. If you want to take a step back and dodge the wall at long, they're going to take one more step out and you're still exposed. So it's a really strong angle.
This is a really big investment from Na'Vi. They spent everything they've got and they just lost Edward. They've still got double AWPs in for this Na'Vi side, but where are they trying to go? Like, there's a lot of noise being made in upper dark, but Zeus is waiting for that long A flanker to push through. While the rest of his team is over at B. Guardian's about to jump up to short by the looks of it. After he checks the mid, but the smoke is covering him pretty tight. So Zeus will pick up the bomb, and he's coming the way of short. But Cajun B's already backed up to the A site. So he's watching that first entrance, and who's going to be Flamey or Guardian that gets to have the first peek? He'll be Guardian with the AWP. This is going to be a big critical shot because there is really no other player for Team SoloMid over at A. Sipnix is in a position where he could potentially rotate, but he still then has to come up through CT spawn, and Seas is already going to shut him down. The flash, slowing down the Snarly push, 30 seconds left on the clock. Cajun B forced out by that Molotov. But you do still have Kerrigan looking for that cross. Cajun B picks up one, and they're being shot from multiple angles. Seas is finally going to get rid of that damn pesky CT. Cajun B also going to drop Dupree. Last man left alive, 10 seconds on the clock. He knows there's one over on short. Needs to get this kill so he can just focus on the bomb planter. But sorry, too late. The plant's going to go down. Seized will drop. And now it's Guardian on Dupree. The smoke is down, but it's not covering the plant area. Oh no, it's the close one. He's actually lost it. Guardian can't reach him in time. 1 second, the jump shot. He even misses that one. If he loses the AWP as well, which he will do so.
I have no idea.
Oh, why was that plant so covered?
I have no words for that. Seized came around the corner, got some good entries, worked over, but as soon as it was down to a 2-on-1 post plant, Guardian backed down catwalk and allowed a 1-on-1. Dupree had 2 1-on-1s essentially, not a 2-on-1 at all. So Guardian misplayed that massively.
That would have been okay if the bomb was on for the short plan. Then it would have been okay because then you fall back and just play the timeout.
That's the only explanation for why Guardian would have fallen back there is that he thought the bomb was on the other side.
Oh, Na'Vi, a little bit of a problem arises as Team SoloMid get their second round. As I said before, it was rather expensive for Na'Vi. They are flat broke. After this buy, Cajun B is going to open up the account, so there goes Guardian. Edward still has this AWP available. He's coming back in towards mid, but Sipnix from the CT spawn is watching the push out. Takes out C, he's going to back the hell out of here. Get in as safe as he possibly can, or maybe not, just walk back out. Take out Flamey, throw the nade, tag up Edward, only for 7 HP, but it's enough. The flashbang, and now they're open up. Oh, nice turn from Edward. He would have been partially blind when he did that shot. But unfortunately, Na'Vi are in a choke point. They want to move back up through the double doors. They're being attacked by, well, it was Kerrigan, until Edward is able to get the pickoff on him. So Na'Vi, it's a 2-on-3 situation. Edward's still looking for the advantage here in mid. But he's moving into an almost unwinnable situation. Dupree just jumps. The flash has blinded Zeus on the other side of the boxes. But it's not going to stop Dupree from killing him. And that goes 3-3. Na'Vi will be on eco this round. There is no choice. Well, actually, they could force buy, but to what, really? With 2.4k?
No, they won't. They can't. I mean, Tech 9 buy, sure, if you want to include that as a force buy these days. They've already got one on Flamey, one on Edward.
It might get you a breach somewhere. Oh, look at KHB. He's watching Suicide Spot. He waited it out.
He saw them drop down and was just waiting for that smoke to go off.
And Device's position, he's already called the fact that Na'Vi is pushing up through short A. So KHB rotates his rifle. Same with Sipnix. And it's going to be a slaughter on the Cat. Edward, he's able to get the pick off on KHB. But down to 13 HP. Device gets flashed. But they should be able to recover. In fact, they will recover that second AWP. And, well, I suppose it could have been worse for Na'Vi on that eco. They did at least get themselves onto the side, even if they didn't get the plant. Force a one-gun drop.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and they didn't have enough hand grenades to get a kill, so unfortunately getting close to the site's not going to mean anything.
Sack was classic.
So they spot up 2 going over that time. Guardian tries to get that wall bang through the mid doors, but now they're going to execute on long, and for the first time ever, for the first time all game, they read this by some stroke of luck correctly because they went for a quick cat, and Zipnix is going to get caught trying to push a little bit too far. Luckily, Cajun B goes back into Guardian, so that evens it up, and Dupree actually finds the lurk player in Zeus, and now it's all falling apart. Flamey drops today, so this actually looked like a horrible position for TSM to be in based on the fact they had no one long and 3 players were there, but they find the exact kills they need to get back into the round.
Man, Team SoloMid, these 2 AWPs, they're working overtime. Sure, Sipnik sacrifices his life, but he ensured the Guardian lost his. Well, okay, Kerrigan. A little of an aggressive push out. But Device has been really solid now on this long A. After KGB backed up, I say that, and KGB's going to get dropped. So we are on a 2-on-2. There you go, 6 HP over on C's, which is not a healthy chappy. Edward does have 100. But Dupree's waiting for them to fall back and rotate out, while Device will give the call. So Device watching from down CT spawn. Where's that first one? He knows he only needs a body shot, and he gets it. Over on C's, Dupree's going to come up through short. And with the nade, Edward cupping a tag, and he's going to drop. Device doing it solo. Gets a 3-for. We're back into that situation where Na'Vi, it's almost the same as Inferno. They get the early rounds, and you feel, hey, Na'Vi's got some momentum. They're going to look good. And then Team SoloMid hit back on their gun round, and then they just keep holding round after round after round after round, getting better and better trades as time goes on. In fact, and Na'Vi's not finding these holes they're searching for.
In fact, I would almost say they look better at this point on Inferno because they got 3 gun rounds. At this point, they've only got the 3 rounds they got off the pistol. This is going to be your first fast B, but yep, it's only on Tech 9s, and like you say, that Molotov, so much damage. Dupree just holding the site, not letting anybody in, and Device chimes in with one of his own. That's your bomb down. So Zeus, again, off lurking in the distance, finds himself in a 1v5, and he'll run in very quickly to his own death. Might as well fire all 32 bullets with that semi-SMG.
I was waiting for our stat to appear up. There were over 9,000 bullets fired during that round. It's just so many. Na'Vi, that walk through the tunnels, it's... I know they're looking for team building exercises, walking over hot coals just to try and find trust in their teammates. But that point is not when you want to be building this new roster's team. It's that, like, teamwork. Because it just looked dodgy. They stopped right on top of the Molotov. Dupree was smacking him back, mind you. Like, that M4 was doing a lot of work. And this time they're actually going to get into the B site. Team SoloMid actually let him have it because they're more worried about the mid where the smoke is. But C's going to have a look around the sides. He doesn't get the kill. He had 2 players in front of him. He doesn't find the pick. Guardian's rotating over, looking towards the window. He's able to drop Kerrigan. But they need more of an opening. Sipnik just spamming through the doors. They know they've lost B, and Team SoloMid, they're actually going to concede the round.
Yeah, and they've lost enough players that Device has 11-3 in his bank right now, but the rest of them are sitting on 3, 3, 2,
what did
9.
Zeus just do to himself?
I'm not exactly sure.
Did anybody see what Zeus just did to kill himself? No one else was involved. It was only Zeus kills Zeus.
Where's his body at right now?
you try and track it down, man.
Yeah, I was looking at the money situation when that came up.
I was watching the 2 AWPs trying to save on long.
He must have misthrown a nade, because the only way...
But why would you even throw a nade at this point? The rest of Team SoloMid are nowhere near you.
Yeah, there's 2 bodies at the door toward B, so there's no drop damage there. It must have had to have been a nade that was mislead.
It has to be. He can't knife himself. I doubt... I mean, you can imagine what would happen in CSGO if you add bullet ricochets. Be watching that. What's that weird game that does bullet ricochet? Sudden attack.
Yeah.
God, that thing is so weird. Guardian. Unable to find that pick in mid. Karrigan as well as KGB. Very aggressive onto the long ace. They're not going to let him have it. And Dupree, he's already been fairly solid defending that that B site from upper dark. Just throwing down the Molotov again and waiting for Na'Vi to do the same thing. As in
someone in chat said he Molotov'd himself, which is entirely possible if he stood too close to the edge of it. He was low HP, so.
Right.
Speaking of Molotov, C's going to put one out. That's going to go through double. Try and hold Zipnix off toward the CT spawn, but really not a position that does much at all to thwart the defensive positioning.
They've still got three. Well, they just threw one of the smokes over towards upper dark. But Dupree, he's going to sit right inside it. But they got another 3 smokes available if they want to come onto A, which means you can smoke out Cajun B, even though he did shoot over the top of that smoke
and
last time.
He's in that position again. He's up on top of the car, so he'll be able to look to do that again.
Okay. Karrigan's not giving him long A.
There's your first smoke out. That's intentionally for CT spawn. So
Karrigan's
they could
about
drop
to get
if
2.
they want, but they're going to go on A. They've got 3 out toward long. And like you say, Karrigan's waiting.
Yep. That smoke's going to expose itself too early on. Karrigan getting flashed up, but he gets back in time to get the reload off, which means he might find a second, but then he get the crossfire. Both seized and flaming, taking out KGB and Karrigan. There's a move up from Zipnix. He sees the bomb plant going down. It's a 3-on-3 situation as Dupree moves up behind Zipnix, so they're both on that ramp, waiting for Device to come up through short. Still a 1-1 trade-off, even if they do bring down the guy in the plant seized. He's moved all the way up through short, starts to spray out. Device will drop. And Zipnix in a really bad position. The round will go to Na'Vi, and they won't fall into the same pit that they were in Inferno. They're able to find more rounds on this T-half after losing the momentum early on.
So three things that really changed the way that round went. The first was the fact that Karrigan only got 1 player out of the 3 that came through long doors. He was forced to fall back over toward the backside of pit, which meant Cajun B, who didn't hit his first shot on catwalk, then had to cover for him, and he was completely exposed from both sides. Once he dropped, Karrigan went as well. They went for a good boost on elevator. That got them 1 kill in the site, but C's flanked back toward Cat caught both of the last players off guard, and Dupree had nothing left he could do. Speaking of Dupree, though, he starts off this round with Style Flamey down, and Edward's going to join him in the grave. So 2 men up already right now for TSM. Finally a response from Guardian.
Yeah, he lost half of his life to do that, though. These early picks from Team SoloMid really give him so much room to breathe. And force, like, look at Na'Vi's attack. They got, okay, well, they do open up long A. And they're coming over to B. Dupree, he's going to walk up through the smoke. He doesn't see Guardian. Guardian's going to get 1. He's running in like he's just got this in the bag. But he's going to walk directly into Device. He wasn't ready for that one now. The 2 AWPs are on Team SoloMid. They have to look towards the mid doors. Device jumping down very quickly. Both players going to miss their shots.
And this is questionable to run 2 ops when you're going to get pushed. They're split up. They have to hold off both bomb sites. You're going to get directly charged by 2 players. Device grabbed that op from tunnels. He may just switch back right now.
Okay,
oh, he's going to keep it. They're comfortable with these.
They're boosting. They're boosting up. And there goes Cajun B. Bomb plant for the exposed for the long. And Device, well, he can try and come back in through short. The Molotov's keeping him up. He grabbed an M4, so he's going to try and rush him here. And, well, that means now that Na'Vi can, if they want to, they can save both the AWPs, and they will, in fact, do so. Seas as well as Zeus holding on to them at the end of the round.
That was slow reactions from Cajun B. I think he was already pre-scoped at long when they went for that. So he missed that entirely. But Navi's doing well late in the round. It's not necessarily pretty off the start. It's not textbook. Again, that round they lost too early, but they even it back up, and they actually took the right initiatives and right reads to get into the site that was most opportunistic for them. This time, Zeus is going to be the one that comes out long, but watch for Karrigan. He's pushed up all the way into the corner on the right side.
This is one of the very few times, too, that Team SoloMid have been forced into a pistol round.
Cajun B and Zipnix are trying to push the issue at middle right now. Zipnix is all the way to the corner, the outside corner of Cat.
Like
they're going to use this flash, this team flash to come through. Cajun B gets 1. Guardian responds immediately, though, so they don't get any more than that.
Still giving them the time. Dupree's walked all the way up through lower dark, while Karrigan holding the long A. He's doing a large amount of damage, and he's actually going to pick up at least 1. He won't get the second. Guardian's waiting for these mid boys to peek out. There goes his second frag. Can't find the third. But on a pistol round, Team SoloMid have forced us into a 2-on-2 situation. Device managed to grab an AK. So this won't be the easiest defense in the world, and they're running to Device. The man who owns the bigger gun is watching in through the first door, looks for the window, but Guardian's the one to get the kill. And we're in a one-on-one situation.
He's gonna peek this. So smart.
Oh, he missed a shot!
Still gets it with the AWP, though.
It's so dangerous, though, when you miss it with the AWP. But that 1 second when you're trying to get the bullet back into the chamber to get the second shot off.
I completely agree with the call to pick. He knew that he had to be coming from CT, or most likely would be. If he's up close, he tries to hold the plant. He gives away his length, his reach advantage with that AWP. Instead, he goes for it. But you're right. As soon as he missed that got a little bit hairy.
Yeah. But he had the confidence to peek twice. And now it's the advantage going the way of Na'Vi here on Dust 2. 7-6 on the board. Team SoloMid are again going to commit quite heavily to this long. They've got the AWP of Cage and B there with Kerrigan's support. They've played this kind of combination almost 50% of their rollouts for CT. While Sipnix gets to hold a little bit further up on short A with the ability to drop down into CT spawn if required, while Device and Dupree, they're hugging the western corner of that B side. Device coming a little bit further out towards window now, and Zipnix in fact has dropped down. With the smoke covering up the CT spawn, he might be regretting he did this because he's hearing the footsteps and the gun changes on short, which is why Cage and B's moved his eyesight over to Catwalk. But it's all a trap. The push is coming to B. Dupree backing up. There's still the two players here, Divide as well as Dupree. One AWP, one M4. And Na'Vi say, well, screw that. Let's run away quickly and then come back in again. So they're going for the foot fake. That smoke is still covering him pretty heavily, and Device and Dupree aren't giving up on this. With Zipnix watching the mid, he's going to have to battle up against Zeus, who's practically blind. But Daddy's going to get the pick here. Cage will be making a lot of noise. Now Device to the front. Oh, careful of that team fire. And it's going to be enough for TSM to hold the lines. Really great cover. And that's going to be it. 7-7 as we'll go into our last round of the first half.
Great read on the rotation. So now we're into a position. Again, we look at TSM. Typically CT-sided, 7-7. This bodes well for Na'Vi, but back at X Games, I can't remember who they were playing. I'm struggling to remember. TSM had an excellent T-half on. I think it was actually against Fnatic in the bronze medal game. Don't quote me on that. But they had an excellent... The first time we actually saw Kerrigan bring a difference to the T side was on a map like Dust, so it's still possible they can do this, but this has all probability of going into 3 games. If they can get this 8th round, it would be even better. Guardian tries to start things off correctly, but that nade catches him because he stays too long looking for that shot, even though he'd been lagged up. Zipnix is going to find C's, but only after Device went down, so it's a one-man advantage right now for Team SoloMid, and 2 players right now for Na'Vi are up on Catwalk. Zeus is one of them with the bomb. Cage and B, but look at Kerrigan. He's already pushed out long. He knows they aren't there. The unfortunate part is he got there right after they went to either Cat or lower, so he didn't get much positional awareness. Luckily, Cajun catches Flamey, and he's not done yet. Zeus going to get him, though.
Yeah, Zeus had to pick up the AWP of his fallen teammate, but now they know he's the last man left alive. Over on short. He's going to get the pick onto Sipnix with a jump AWP scope. The plant will go down. He can protect this from long if he's fast enough to get there. With an 8 flying up, he's down to 77 life. He's being attacked from short. He knows there's one coming up through the ramp. The jump up, looking for the pick. Kerrigan's going to drop Zeus. Can he give his team the advantage going into the second half? And with a one-on-one situation, Dupree's waiting for that peek to come from Zeus. Zeus is waiting for Dupree to come up through the boxes. It's the only way he can approach. And he knows it. Up they come. But at the end of the day, it's an M4 on an AWP. He needed to get the first shot. Was unable to do so, and that'll give the round here to Team SoloMid.
And Zeus got timid. He actually had the start of that angle to his advantage, and if he just held it, if he had just waited, Dupree would have walked directly toward him, but he got a little timid, and when he backed off, Dupree had already rounded the corner when he went to re-peek him. So that gives the round to TSM. 8-7. Good half, I'm going to say, from Na'Vi. They actually looked a lot better, a lot more organized. Like I said, they had good reads of their opponents late in the round to go to the bomb sites that gave them a better chance. Remember, that came with a pistol win, too, so We'll see if they can get a pistol win here, get things off to another good start. But right now, again, I said it, it's Dust 2, and this was the first map I saw Kerrigan really change things up for TSM way back at the end of January when they were still the Dignitas roster. So we'll have to see how it bodes for them. Guardian's already trying to get information
Look how quick they're coming.
Into lower tons they go, and Dupree's going to hang around just to make sure. They've got to be careful because Edward and Guardian are both stacked in mid right now, so when Cajun B comes out toward the doors, he's going to have a welcoming party of 2 people.
But Dupree and Cease, if Dupree can win this opening, they've opened up the B site. Cajun B is already moving back, which means this stack of 2 people is not going to run into Kerrigan. In fact, Guardian and Edward, they're still trying to battle up against him in the mid. Device needs to give him the cover fire to get out of that box. And with the smoke on the CT spawn, Zeus and Flame, there's not much more they can do here. Guardian and Edward have to try and hold. Well, then again, Kerrigan and Device, they didn't try and push through onto the cover of that smoke. Obviously, you're battling up against 2 players there before, but... yeah, no opening yet. It's just patience coming from Team SoloMid. They still got time, 45 seconds. Now they move out. Guardian's going to be the first one to scout it out. Edward scouted the mid move too, and he's already moving all the way back in there. As Edward and Zeus, they're both coming in. Where is that defense? Right now it's not there. Zeus and Edward just drop so quickly. The last player is coming up, Flamey. He goes for the flash. It's quite a high flash as well as a defense one from Team SoloMid, but they take the bomb site. And this will be momentum coming the way of TSM.
Zipnik owes Cajun B a beer because he actually had to take that fight in middle in order to allow them to get inside the B site. Instead, he backed off and went through tunnels. That allowed the second player in mid from Na'Vi to then take a 2-on-2 on entry for TSM. If Zipnik had to stay around, even if he lost the fight and delayed it, they would have had the site on a 2-on-1. Luckily, Cajun B found that kill.
Look at TSM go now. They want long. They want long, eh? Flamey and Zeus are there, try and get the defense. And Flamey's going to drop. Cease at least able to control lower dark. But Zeus, Guardian, and Edward are all falling back on the A side. They know the quick push is coming out from TSM. The smoke's to give them the cover, so Zeus and Edward, they can't see anyone on the cross. It's not going to stop them from getting a 1-1 trade-off. But with these AKs moving up, I suppose Guardian does have this scout. They got the double scouts and Guardian as well as Edward. The smoke's going to wear off in a moment. Not the greatest position in the world here for TSM. As they try and go for the picks. They don't realize one's over on the side box. Now they will. As Guardian, but the plant, Cajun B, to put it down. Kerrigan, he's going on a very long rotation to come up through shot. I'm wondering if Edward's going to be able to hear him. I'm wondering if Edward's even going to be able to stay alive long enough. And the answer will basically be yes, because he does reach him in time. But Na'Vi getting caught on Cat. Curiosity about what was going on with TSM.
I say Cajun.
I say B. I say A, actually. That's where it was. Oh, man. So we have a pistol round from Na'Vi. I kind of want to say before we go further through this tee, I just want to...
Stack at A, by the way.
Is it? Okay. Yep. Well, I suppose there's no other job. Look at Cajun B. He's just running into the B side. It's like, yo, boys, there's an opening.
Yeah. I say Cajun, it's open at B. Let's get over here, boys.
Just move over. Then they can control the CT spawn. There's no way for them to come back apart from through shot. But Dupree, as well as Sipnik's, are waiting here. Sipnik's has really done a fantastic job of controlling the mid. And with that AK, they just wait for them to come up through shot. Dupree takes 3 heads. Scalps of Na'Vi, claimed and hung on his wall. And the last 2 left from Na'Vi are in CT. They try and look over the top of the smoke. They'll at least get 1 player down for Team SoloMid. But where's the last? There it is. All right, so... battle was good. Battle was golden. Device throws away the scout. He's picking up at AWP now for the next round. And this is the 3 shots from Dupree. They did kind of line themselves up at the end there. But there was no other choice. They couldn't go through CT. Couldn't go through short.
The better play there was actually from Cajun B yelling out to his teammates that B was in fact open. Because if they'd gone much further around the corner, they were close to going to corner at A. They already had 2 players out from long doors. They would have run into 5 pistols immediately ready to take them down. So that could have gone pretty badly.
Gets the first frag. Can't get the second. Does tag up Zeus, and look how quickly Na'Vi are moving back. But it's all a bait right now, because you got Zipnik moving in. Sees he needs to go big or go home. He managed to go slightly big, and has a ticket punched for home. There's a 2-on-2 situation. As Team SoloMid run the decoy. And now, They just have to hold the site from the retake from Na'Vi. Both players are going to come up through that mid area. Zeus and Guardian. Zeus to go window, Guardian to go doors.
A good peek by Device. He peeked just far enough to know there's no one in tunnels up close, so he has time to go back whether or not they're both coming that way. Even if a player was still tunnels, he had time to take that fight. Turns out they're both there, and look at the kill he gets for it. So 12 now for Team SM.
They're looking great here on the T's. Na'Vi aren't finding that same kind of coordination that TSM were able to find on their CT half. Because I still kind of feel like TSM, their CT half was amazing. They rammed these two pairs with Zipnik's the perfect floater in between them. And then there was nowhere to really breach in. There was always a crossfire for Team SoloMid. For Na'Vi, it kind of feels like they're playing these one-on-one battles, but it's also because TSM are doing things like this. You push through long, you get the early frags, and you're also winning the one-on-one battle. So Device and Zipnik's, currently they own the B site, which is kind of funny because KGB has just lost both of his players on the A, so he'll bring this in through Dark. Potentially he can just run it up through CT, but it's a little bit more exposed there. But this is Na'Vi where they just lose one of their flanks. It just crumbles apart, and then they're forced into these rotation retake positions. And they don't really have the weapons to do this. A Scout and an AK up against an AWP and 2 AKs. I know Edward's tagged. But yeah, they're not coming to fight this one. They let the bomb plant go down. And maybe, well, they can't even look for an exit frag. Not unless Guardian's going to move up to T-spawn. That's the only place he could do it.
Or CT if they exit mid, but I doubt they're going to. They're going to run back through tunnels at this point because they know they're saving on the A side.
Edward could watch that. He's got the Scout. Maybe he can get one pick up. But Guardian's already too late to get there. So the bomb plant will go off. Team SoloMid will take now this 20th round, making it 13-7. And money-wise for Na'Vi, they got enough for a buy. In fact, they got quite a lot of money for a buy. They're 6.4k over on Seized. So orbs are still available if they want to try and go for that. And in fact, they will. Seized just buys the orb straight away and gives it Guardian.
Question is Edward trying upgrade from this Scout? No, he's going to keep it. So we'll see how they use that to their advantage. Or at least attempt to. So once again, TSM, much like Inferno, although Inferno they had 11.5, so it was a lot easier. Haven't given up an offensive round yet tonight, which is very encouraging for a team like them.
Look how defensive Na'Vi is. Every single time on this long, they throw this smoke, which is closer towards pit.
Just to give you an idea, too, we talked about Flamey in the last map, how he actually played quite well considering the pro performance that they had. He's only got 4 this time, so not necessarily fitting into Dust 2 quite as easily. And, of course, Dust 2 relies a little bit more teamwork and dynamic play in terms of how it's such a spread out map, and Inferno's a little more linear and relies a little bit more on direct fights and peaks. So
yeah, and the early frags he got were practically the first 3-4 rounds of Na'Vi's T-Half on Inferno, and then it all kind of just fell apart anyway. But yeah, that's not the greatest thing you're looking at when you go 4-2-16. That's not a happy day. Especially when you're staring down the barrel of a 2-0. Well, Guardian will scout out that one rushing Team SoloMid player coming in through short. Edward tries to go for the peak with the Scout. Get tagged back a little bit himself. He does get a shot in. In fact, he's going to get an extra one. Dupree to drop.
Also gets a tag on KGB, so this worked out well. Lots of damage done from the Scout. To think if that had been an op, there would be hardly anyone left standing, but Kerrigan's still standing in middle and unsighted indeed, 2 for him, as KGB finds one more, but it's turned around by Zeus. The God of War says he wants to fight, and Kerrigan's going to take it. It's going to go directly into a one-on-one, and Zeus comes away with it.
Played it perfectly. He didn't hear the jump coming up through the window, so he knew it was going to come in through the smoke with the door. Saves the AWP, able to clean out the remaining TSM players that are on the B site. And Na'Vi gets some hope into this second map, where Team SoloMid were running away. There's still 10k on devices. Now he's going to buy up. So Team SoloMid still have enough money for one more buy here before they'll be forced into pistols. And Na'Vi, they're going to run a double AWP. This is a big all-in for them. There is not a lot of money left for them if they lose this round.
I totally called him the God of War, which he is not.
Yeah, because that's Hades.
Yeah. I'm going to let that one go.
Oh, Flamey! Flamey! That smoke, now you see why they keep throwing it every single time, because Team SoloMid thought they had an opening just to push in. And they went through the smoke, but didn't find the Na'Vi defenders on long A. And now it's all up to Kerrigan. He did some work in the last time. And he'll take out Edward now. But he's still up against... Okay, peek. That's a bullet to the point where he won't father children. So 13-9. Na'Vi dragging it back. They still have to buy up. It was a high-risk play from them, though. Like, the positioning helped, like, really paid off for them. But to get both of the AWPs up, if you lost that round, they would have been staring at a 14-8, and they would have been forced into pistols for the next round.
Yeah, and I mean, then you're too far out. Then you're on 15. It's still, I mean, this gives them a massive chance. So
Zeus.
start things off very well. That pre-smoke on the corner lets them come around a little bit further, lets them find some positioning that's a bit more aggressive. You can get into pit a lot easier. But look at this mid play. What is Zipnik's doing? Just nades his teammates.
They didn't take any damage. They took no damage whatsoever as they breach into B. But, well, at this point, they do have it. The bomb site. It currently belongs to two players, Cage and B. I take it back. Cage and B is down. But the bomb plan is down there from Zipnik. He has to go 1-on-2 up against Zeus and Flamey. He takes one and almost takes the second. Only 28 HP left on Flamey. He'll get the defuse. He's looking for the AWP. He's going to grab that too. So Na'Vi now 10-13. These rounds have still been expensive. Mainly because they're losing so many players, so they have to keep on rebuying.
And this round was especially expensive because they actually had reset their money bonus about 3 rounds ago now, actually, as it comes out. And they lost a lot of players, which means they had to invest again. They were very low again, and then they invested more. They're just not building up the economy. With 3 in a row, they'll start to. But again, 4 players down. They're bought. They're still very fragile. Flamey, where he survives that time, has a bit more to work with. Guardian's already found one, though. That's Device.
Yeah, and that's something which Team SoloMid cannot have happen at this point of the game. They need to find the numbers advantage. Cage and B, he's going to level it up. Bringing down Edward in lower dark as now Carrigan, he gets the revenge onto Guardian for his fallen comrade. As Sipnix finds himself in a long A battle. Flamey not really coming off the best for wear for that one. It's also not going to help the fact that Cage and B has managed to take out that mid. Is he going to look left? The run out. Ooh, whoops.
A little team kill by Dupree.
Yeah, that's not part of the plan, Stan. So Na'Vi, luckily, find themselves in a 2-on-2 situation.
And we got to keep an eye on those little plays, those little miscommunications as we look for this retake now from Natus Vincere. Going to try and come through. Flamey's going to lead the way, but watch for those misplays because this will start to show if they're staying mentally in this or if things are getting a little out of hand, if Na'Vi's finally finding a way to counter TSM, but Zipnik's not going to allow it. There's the first. Zeus gets one in return, but Dupree down below. Such a strong spot when someone's that close on the window. Closes out the round, and now it's 2 to go.
I'm really hoping Zero Gravity not tuning in to hear how you just pronounce Navi's name.
It's okay.
It's so Western.
I mean, after how bad we butchered Greek mythology, both of us.
Hey, I didn't butcher it.
You
I
said
corrected
Hades.
you.
It's Ares.
It's Ares?
Yeah, chat corrected us.
Hades is the guy of the underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Should remember that one. Guy with the blue hair. Never has to use moose.
It's okay. Things can only go down from here.
That's only if you follow the Disney version. Yeah, but not as Vincere. Open it up. Seized. Scout. Takes out one. Needs a second. Zeus. There's seized. He takes a second. And Team SoloMid, this buy is not working the way they really hoped. It was a force buy coming out from Na'Vi. Slightly successful. They managed to rotate the AWP of Guardian over. And now it's just an absolute duck hunt. As Team SoloMid get caught in the upper dark. Man, okay. Don't need to shoot around the boxes by the looks of it. Not with that scout. It just penetrates so deep.
The thing is that TSM had just finally won a round and got back into it. Now they lose back out, so it's going to be closer in the late part. But look at Na'Vi in return. They also won that round, and their buy is still not that strong. You've got a UMP 45 and 2 FAMASs.
Zipnix is on a mission from God.
There's Guardy again, this reverse angle. So strong against Catwalk because you control the peak and not the other way around. So first one's down already. They're going to try and bash their head against a wall and break through it because they have to try and take an up-close fight. And this is the only way they've got a way to do it. Guardian wants none of it. Nice shot by Dupree. At least puts him down in another one.
He's
the Deagles are on point, but Flamey's on fire. And Dupree is extinguished immediately. So 2 rounds the difference.
Oh, man. that play from Zipnix, he basically just went YOLO, and I'm fairly certain the main goal there from Team SoloMid was to drop him down into CT spawn, cause the crossfire when the others push in through the mid doors, and then have that last player pushing over on B, and then just take the B side. That was the plan from TSM, but obviously when you get snapped back by an AWP, things don't really work that way, so they just tried to commit themselves into an A push, which fell on its ass. But rightly so. You're up against AWPs and superior weapons, so this time around it's a little bit more balanced. It is 2 Khalils, 2 AKs, as well as an AWP. And Karrigan's been given the mid. They'll let the AWP do the peeking for now. But there's no one showing themselves unless they look down to the CT spawn. Then you might be able to find one player. But Seeds is watching the crossfire. If Team SoloMid can't find the pick here, I don't know if they abandon, if they just smoke up. Yeah, they're going to smoke up the CT entrance. Sees with a nice nade timing, taking 60 HP off Dupree, and he's also going to flag the fact they're all pushing up through mid. So sits inside the smoke, waits till they bump into him, and then shoots down the bomb carrier. Expended his entire clip, however, and this allows Dupree to come in through upper dark. The bomb is with them, but it's a 2-on-3 situation. Flamey's not a healthy chappy. So Team SoloMid, they could potentially defend this. But Na'Vi is making their timing right. They let Zeus come up through upper dark, and they're trying to get the perfect cross. Dupree, first shots, able to do it over the top, and they do have the advantage. It's a 2-on-1. Zeus comes in close, got Famis in hand, takes out one, needs the second, and Zipnix moves outside to try and stall up the timer here. A 1-on-1 situation. The smoke is there, but Zipnix sees Zeus walk out of it. It's 15 rounds to Team SoloMid, and they are 1 round victory away from taking this series 2-0 and getting themselves a spot in that winner's bracket final tomorrow.
And that's just a great hold by TSM right there, because Dupree didn't want to peek tunnels. All he wanted to do was support Zipnix, who was at the doors. Zipnix found that, or pardon me, Dupree found that first kill. Zipnix pushes through. Zeus coming from tunnels. There's no one to be found. I did like what Na'Vi did to start the round. Actually, though, they played a sort of a reverse psychology play at A. They didn't go for that 3 long. They went 3 cat. As soon as mid was called, all 3 of them dropped and tried to get picks in reverse through that smoke on CT. Unfortunately, though, just a great play by TSM to hold the site.
Ceased finally able to level up the numbers a little bit, taking out one of those aggressive TSM players in upper dark. Device, if he has a little bit more patience. Nope, no patience from Device. Looks like Guardian's not going to peek from anyway. They put the smoke watching across mid, so Guardian can move in really, really close now. He can probably hear them running to a short A, and that's why Zeus is back on the site, and Flamey's holding from long. KGB a little bit late coming in here. The flashes, the Molotovs, they're forcing Zeus off the site. He's still sitting inside the fire. I don't know if he realized he just lost half of his life to that Molotov. Zipnix is the first one to get the kill, and second as well. Na'Vi have now lost A. They have to retake this. Well, they're into the lower bracket. Zipnix claims a 3 for. KGB's going to deny him the ace. And Flamey, the last man, the new man for Na'Vi, is the last one left alive. He'll have to pull out something magical out of a hat, and it cannot be a rabbit. He grabs one. That's Zipnix, the big man. The bomb is on the exposed side of A side. This time, it is the right reason to fall back on the short A. And decides to go for the defuse. Not going to work. And Team SoloMid take Dust 2, 16-12 against Na'Vi.
And I think that a lot of that came down to Na'Vi actually didn't look too bad on this